Speed, how was the day going? Sarah?
Okay, I'm not sure who that was, but so tell us about Anguilla. Everyone is anxiously awaiting.
Okay, I have you back again.
Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Herbert?
So, you know, Anguilla, yes, okay. I can hear you.
Yes,
can you hear me now?
Go right ahead.
So Anguilla is fabulous, like DJ Yush was saying, you know, we're COVID free. So we live in a bubble. It's normal here. We go to the beach, we go around, there's no COVID, so there's no protocols in place for us. And we live in a bubble, so to speak, right now. But you know, in a time where space is essential, you know, losing the crowd, it nearly feels impossible. And thankfully, Anguilla has remained an uncrowded oasis, you know, while being named #1 island in the Caribbean by Travel and Leisure for 4 years in a row. So, you know, we have luxury 5-star resorts, private villas, you know, white sandy beaches, etc. And Anguilla is a place to heal and be healed. So we have 33 white, stunning beaches that you can choose to go from, you know, every day of the month and still not duplicate your efforts. We are eagerly waiting for when visitors, you know, will grace our shores again. We have protocols in place, you know, to keep the visitors safe and ourselves safe while enjoying what Anguilla has to offer. Anguilla has successfully repatriated over, I think it's 460 persons without any incident. So our protocols do work. And right now, the first phase of our opening was focused on you know, the villa component. It was easy for folks to vacation in place with the villa component. You know, the villas, they have full staff, they have a chef, the butler, the pool, they're on the beach. So even though you're vacationing in place because of the quarantine protocol, you're still able to enjoy certain things. Now, once the quarantine is over and you do your final tests, you're then let into the Anguillan public. So you can roam around, etc., etc. And, you know, there's no social distancing and those type of protocols in place for that.
And how long is the quarantine? Is it 14 days?
Well, it depends on where you come from. Depending on the prevalence, but it's a high or low prevalence is between 10 and 14 days. So if you come from a place of high prevalence, is 14 days. Low prevalence with the risk is minimum is 10 days. Hopefully in the future that can be relaxed even more, but currently that's the protocols in Anguilla.
So what kind of season are you looking forward to? I'm sure that's top of mind for a lot of people in the industry. What's the season going to look like?
And also the fees to enter the island.
Yes, that's also, yes. We also have a lot of questions about that.
So I do have some good news about the fees. We've had a meeting just yesterday where we discussed the fees, and you know, the government of Anguilla, they listened. The fees in this announcement should be on Friday. The fees will be reduced. Full disclosure, you know, because we were closed since March, there are some challenges in terms of revenue. So the government just wanted to help and offset the cost because, you know, we had to hire new personnel, 6 additional doctors, 16 additional nurses. We had to ramp up surveillance to make sure folks would adhere to the quarantine protocols, etc. So this comes at a cost. And the fees were introduced specifically for these reasons. And even though they're there to help offset the costs, the government of Anguilla will reduce the fees, and that announcement should be on Friday.
Can you say what the fees will be, or do we have to wait for the announcement?
I have to wait because I can't remember every single
sure.
of it, so I don't want to be misquoted. I don't want to give you wrong information.
we understand. We totally understand, but that's certainly good news.
Yes.
But
yes,
tell us what do you have a sense as to what your forward bookings look like, what your season is likely to look like, and for travel advisors who are looking for options to send their very discerning clients this holiday, what does Anguilla have to offer? So a lot of questions.
Sure, we know there's a pent-up demand for Anguilla. Like I said, it is easy to come here and vacation. You know, Anguilla is uncrowded, is unspoiled, etc. So there's pent-up demand. I am very optimistic about our forward bookings. I also have a travel company myself, Leviticus Lifestyle
Okay.
and Travel. So I can gauge based on that. Angola is a small community. So we know there are a lot of bookings on the books, but there are also folks who are waiting to see what the second phase
Right.
will be like before they commit to coming because we're gonna still have the quarantine protocol in place. So for short-term stays, people may be deterred from coming for short-term stays because if you're going to quarantine for 10 days and your vacation is only for 7 days, you may opt to go somewhere else in the interim. Now, the quarantine measures will not be in place forever, but for longer-term stays, it's no issue to come. Vacation in place. So let me stop using the word quarantine. Vacation in place
Vacation in place. I like
until,
that.
until yeah, or stay in place until the last day when you have your final COVID and just explore and enjoy everything Angola has to offer. It's
So you
open
don't
before.
anticipate that the
And
quarantine.
they quickly learned that sequential testing is the best way to determine if someone is COVID free. No longer can one test determine if you're COVID free. So hence the reason why we require a PCR test, 3 to 5 days before arrival. Now you all know you could leave America or wherever you come from COVID free, you get on the plane, etc. You may contract COVID, even though nowadays you can't get on a plane without having that test and that result. But just say you contracted COVID is during the incubation period is not going to be detected as yet. So hence the reason why when you land in Angola, you do a test upon arrival at the airport. And then you are transported to your accommodation. And just want you to have vacation in place until we can determine if you're safe enough to venture out into the public. And the reason why we want to do that is because right now we enjoy, and I'm sure the guests would enjoy not having to wear a mask in the heat and not having to be standoffish, and 6 feet apart, etc. You can go to the beach, you can mingle. Once you have that final negative COVID result, so it's I know we would love to just open the borders and let the floodgates come through, but that would be irresponsible. And Angola is a very small island, and we can't afford to have that type of community transmission. And that's the reason for the protocols. Everyone won't be happy about them, but there's a reason why we're COVID free, and we want to remain that way for as long as we can. And we want you to also come in vacation in a safe environment.
I hear that.
So, yeah.
Yep. Let's see. So are there any properties, any new attractions? Probably not new properties, but when you reopen for the season. But first of all, do you have a tentative reopening date as yet? And then also any new
November
attraction?
1st.
November 1st is the tentative date. Okay. And
Yes.
what can travel advisors expect? They're always looking for new attractions, new products. We had an amazing tour at Prickly Pear Cay, which I feel fortunate because I've been there twice, so I know it firsthand. But a lot of travel agents have never heard of it. Any new attractions? Anything that you can tell us about as that might be a new highlight, a new feature in Anguilla once you reopen on November 1st for the season?
Well, first of all, I missed that. Warren, did you speak to Warren Buttle at Prickly Pear?
Oh yeah, he did a whole tour for us. That was the first part of our session. He actually took the camera out. We saw tracks from turtles. We saw the actual beach. There was a chef demonstration, mixologist. You missed the party, Mr. Herbert. So that was from 4 to 5.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no.
So we actually got to do
Prickly
a
Pear is,
virtual
is,
tour.
is a wonderful offshoot.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, no, Prickly Pear is a really great amenity that guests can come to Angola and enjoy, along with Sandy Island,
Yes.
and there's another offshore key called Silly Key. So they're really great spots, for guests and locals alike to come and enjoy. In terms of new attractions, I don't know of any as yet, just because of the protocols, and we're not sure what the season will be like. Exactly after we open, we're going to open and test the waters first, and then as the protocols and different as the different protocols relax a little bit more, then we could determine what new attractions and stuff we could bring on board.
Fantastic. Fantastic. What else can you share with us? We have travel advisors joining us by Facebook and also by Zoom. And I'm looking to see if there are any questions. I don't see any questions on the board currently. But what would you like to say to travel advisors who... Go right ahead.
Sure, I would love to say, Anguilla has been the same peaceful, tranquil island as always been. We are eagerly waiting to accept visitors. The villas, the hotels, we've done extensive training to be able to accept, guests again and keep them safe. We still have 33 wonderful beaches. The weather here is always great. So I just want to say, even though we have protocols in place, the protocols are in place to keep us safe. So even though we have those protocols in place, still book us, still send your clients to Anguilla. We would love to have them and take care of them as we did in the past.
And is there, I know in many of the islands, there is a certification process that most establishments have to go through before they reopen. Is there a similar system in place in Anguilla?
There's a similar program here, and all the accommodations are right now going through that program, where they're being visited by the health officials and also folks from the Ministry of Health and also environmental health, to make sure that the staff are trained, that the villas have all the PPE equipment, accommodations, etc., to make sure that staff and clients are kept safe during vacation.
Great. And my final question, what has been the biggest challenge that the island has had to deal with during the past 6 months of being under quarantine, and you guys are still under curfew, correct? There is still a curfew in place?
Well, not a curfew per se, but our border closed, and we have border protection, but not a curfew. We can still go about our normal life and live our lives as normal, as we did pre-COVID. In the early stages in March, when we had a shutdown, when we had the 3 cases, there was a curfew then, but it has been, since lifted. Like I said before, right now we live in a nice bubble, we don't wear masks, etc., because we're COVID-free. However, the biggest challenge has been, unemployment.
Wow, okay.
Folks are not, especially in the hospitality industry, folks were not able, to work because of, there's no tourists. That has been the biggest challenge, because Anguilla depends so much on tourism. But hopefully, November, December, that will all start to change. Will reopen and folks will be back to work.
And am I correct? You are not open to St. Martin. You cannot go back and forth to St. Martin, correct? Your borders are still closed to St. Martin.
You can go to St. Martin, but if you come back, you'll be subjected to quarantine.
Okay,
and those measures. Yeah. Anybody leaving? So right now we are advising people, not to do any non-essential travel. Because if you do, when you come back, you're subjected to quarantine.
And that's 14 days from St. Martin? If you go to St. Martin, it's 14 days? Wow.
That's correct. Yeah, no, it's tough.
Yep. Kelly, do you have any questions for Mr. Herbert?
No, he's answered all my questions. Thank you.
And Mr. Herbert, I could not leave without telling you that I have Anguillan roots. I'm so proud of my Anguillan roots.
Oh, you do? Oh, wonderful.
Yes. My grandmother and my grandfather are from Anguilla. My mother was actually born in Anguilla. My grandmother was a Richardson and my grandfather was a Fleming.
Oh, wow. We may even be related.
Do you know Jerry?
I'm sure everybody in Anguilla is related.
Do you know Jerry Gums?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, do you know Jerry's brother, Alwyn?
Yes.
Okay, Alwyn's wife is my aunt, Connie.
Oh,
Yeah,
small world, small world.
small world, small world. So Connie is my mother's younger sister. My grandmother, when she left Anguilla to migrate to Antigua back in, oh my goodness, the 30s, or maybe early 40s. Connie was actually born in Antigua, but she married back into the Anguillan family. So, so my family, I've been to Anguilla several times and stayed at my aunt's place, and so I'm full bred Anguillan, second generation.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You've been here, you say you've been here, how long, how often have you been here? How many times?
I've been to Anguilla several times. I've been to Anguilla at least 7 or 8 times. Yep, I absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is. It is. Very proud to claim my Anguilla roots. Yep. Great. Well, thank you so much for connecting with us. We have a membership in TASC of 6,500 members.
Oh, Mr. Herbert is a member of TASC already, so.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
So I don't have to tell him what goes on in TASC. Great. So
Yes,
we are, we've definitely grown significantly since COVID.